I think that after beef stew, chicken stew is the sweetest type of stew. So let's make this. It's very easy. It was really tasty and you would enjoy it, of course. Of course, first thing, wash off the chicken properly. So here I was just rinsing it off one more time because I just brought it out of the freezer. I put it in a pot, and every ingredient used would be in the description box as always. But for the chicken, I spiced with salt, some curry, some thyme, some chicken seasoning, a bit of pepper and onions. Then I just mixed that up. I allowed it to cook in its own steam before eventually adding water. So onto the prep. For stew, if you want it to be like really sweet, you have to have more tomatoes, more fresh tomatoes than tomato paste. Um, okay, so I've seen a lot of videos on social media, and people would use like a lot of the tatashe or shombo. Well, I'm not used to that, so I'm just used to using a lot of fresh tomatoes and onions, yeah, than tomato paste. But I always add tomato paste. It's just how I've always cooked, and it always turns out nice. Anyways, I blended the fresh peppers first, poured that into a jar. Then I washed the fresh tomatoes, blended that. I didn't blend it into a puree. I kind of pulsed it, and not with a lot of water. Then I poured that into a sieve.
You know just what you do to me. Play my emotions like a pair of puppet strings. Did it ever occur to you my heart's more than a toy? Please go easy on me, babe. Send message after message, forward my calls. Next day you hit me back like nothing happened at all. What about all the things you used to say to me? This ain't the way it's supposed to be. And you know I wouldn't do that to you. You know I wouldn't.
If you blend this into a puree, then you shouldn't pour it into a sieve. But pouring this into a sieve helps just reduce the water, and I don't have to fry for long, or I don't have to boil the tomatoes down before blending or after I've blended, just to reduce the water. So this just does it for me. And for the water, you can discard it, or you can just add it to the meat, and that works. Yeah, so I added in some onions as well. I use a lot of onions for tomato stew. It helps with the flavor, with the volume. It's really nice. So you should try that. So I added some onions, pulsed it, and poured into a sieve. So at this point, the chicken was properly cooked, and I just took it off and I fried it. So it's also very important that you use the oil you've used for frying whatever meat you're using to fry the stew. So try not to use a lot of oil, just so that you don't have excess oil. Or even if you use a lot of oil for the frying, then you can reduce it in half before
I wanna treat you
frying the
that
stew.
way. No, I've been running, can't catch up. Oh love, what I won't do. Oh, you got me chasing waterfall. Oh, you got me chasing waterfall.
When I was frying the chicken, I kind of forgot it on fire, so it fried more than I would have liked. But I was very watchful with this second batch, and it wasn't as dry as the first one. After the frying of the chicken in the oil, I put in some onions. Remember, we put some onions into the tomatoes before blending, and then we have this chopped one. So this is the water from the tomatoes, and this definitely helps just so that I don't have to fry for so long. So I put in the tomatoes like a minute later, and then fried this. I added some fresh peppers. I just fried this until it was almost properly fried.
Can I be your star tonight?
So when the oil had floated to the top a bit, I added in tomato paste. And like I said in the beginning of this video, I always add tomato paste to tomato stew. It just has to be little. It should not overpower the fresh tomatoes. Again, if you do not sieve the tomatoes after blending, you would have a lot of water in this and it will take so much time to fry. But this did not take me more than 15 minutes to fry. So the oil floated on top again. Like I could tell it was almost dry, and I just went in with some spices, curry salt, seasoning, a bit of pepper. And you know that this has properly fried when like the oil is really floating on top. And just look at the kind of holes it is making. It doesn't splash anymore. So this type of holes are like a bit deep, and the oil is like really floating. So after that, I went in with the fried chicken, some stock, mix that up. And after you've mixed it up, you always want this to just boil for at least like say 8 to 10 minutes, just so that everything marries properly. If you have some leaves, this is the time to put it in. And always add fresh pepper just before everything boils together, or just before you put it off. It just adds a bit of unique taste to it. And we've come to the end of this video. This stew was really tasty. Let me know what you think in the comments. I would see you in my next video.